I've been a United States Marine, a police officer for 15 years, been a Special Forces Green Beret. I never met fear until I came to Ukraine.
Many evangelical churches absolutely destroyed.
The devil knew exactly how to attack.
Once I came to Ukraine and saw what's going on here, this is good versus evil.
And those were scenes from a new documentary called A Faith Under Seige, Russia's Hidden War on Ukraine's Christians. And here now in studio are the film's executive producers, Stephen Moore and Colby Barrett. Gentlemen, great to have you with us. Congratulations on this new film.
Oh, thanks. It's great to be with you.
So Russia says that it will have a ceasefire from May 8th to May 10th. Given your experience, and Stephen, I know you live in Ukraine, and your experience in making this film, do you trust Russia to make good on that? Can Russia be trusted?
You know, I think if you look at Vladimir Putin, there's folks that are trying to tell us that Putin is a man of faith, that he's a defender of Christendom. But I think when you look at his actions on Palm Sunday, you know, they bombed cities in Ukraine. They killed 35 Ukrainians, including 2 children, many of whom were on their way to church. So we have not seen Putin uphold a ceasefire at any time in this war, including, you know, the last few months with President Trump. And President Trump, I think, has been very patient with Putin and has been really giving him a lot of leeway and trying to work with him. But there's carrots and sticks in negotiations, and Putin's not really receiving the carrots very well because he keeps violating these ceasefires.
Yeah, and, you know, they left the door open to say, if Ukraine doesn't provoke us, we won't provoke. But you know, they can come up with all sorts of stuff to say that Ukraine attacked them. Colby, I understand you actually don't have a background in film. How did this documentary come about?
Yeah, no background. This is our first documentary. This summer, a friend asked me whether I wanted to go on an aid convoy to Ukraine. I'm a farmer and I run a business. It was a very busy time, right in the middle of harvest. So I told him no. I started actually looking into what was happening in Ukraine, specifically to evangelical Christians, and it absolutely blew my mind. I knew that I was called to go over there, and I knew I was called to tell this story. So we put together a team and made it happen. Stephen and I traveled the entire length of the Ukrainian front lines, 1,500 miles, talked to 40 different individuals, Christians that had suffered in Russia's invasion.
How did you two get together? Because I know you live in Kyiv, you live in Telluride, Colorado.
Right.
How did you two get hooked up?
Well, you know, I went over to Ukraine on day 5 of the war just because I wanted to help. You know, I don't like bullies. I see Putin as a bully, and so I wanted to help in Ukraine. Did the first year, I spent a lot of time at the front delivering humanitarian aid, and then God just kept bringing Christians across my path that had been tortured or had been imprisoned or had been driven from their homes by the Russians, you know, because they are Christians. So they're persecuting evangelical Christians. And it was just mind-blowing to me. So I started just telling everyone I knew. I used to work on Capitol Hill. I've testified in front of Congress, and we've been working really hard on this. Then one day, Colby just calls me out of the blue and says, hey, you know, we'd like to make a documentary film. And I'm like, yes, please come talk to my friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the rest was kind of history. You went over there. I guess, how did you find it sounds like you had some history with these people who had been Christians who had been persecuted, but how did you choose who to showcase, the stories to feature? I mean, I know you probably had a ton of footage.
Unfortunately, the stories of persecution of believers over there are all too common. But when we started making the film, we really wanted to put a good team together. We had a great film crew in Ukraine, a great post-production crew in New York City, and then we met Stephen, and he had developed relationships with these folks and was able to make those introductions. So that was really what we wanted to do, is tell all aspects of that story. So we met fathers that had lost their entire families to Iranian drones that had been shot by Russia. We met pastors that had been tortured, people that have lost family members, and just innumerable stories that are just horrific.
What if you had to just pick maybe 1 or 2 things? What's the biggest takeaway from this whole process? Maybe to you first, Stephen, and then to you, Colby.
Well, I got to tell you that these people in Ukraine, their faith is so amazing. You know, it's just really helped develop my faith. And the hand of God has shown itself in the making of this film. I mean, there's a couple of times that we shouldn't be here talking to you now because we narrowly avoided missiles or drones. And, you know, and the hand of God just put us in the right direction and introduced us to the right people. And it's just been a breathtaking thing for me to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, Colby, what about you?
I would echo the thing I didn't expect was how much of an impact this was going to be on my faith. Obviously, I felt I was following the Holy Spirit, but being over there, if you look as Christians, our foundational document is the New Testament, which is a story about a small persecuted minority being essentially hunted by a much bigger empire. That's exactly what's happening over there now. And the Christians that you've met, or that we met, they're behaving the same way as the first century Christians. They show up with persistence and resolve and love and service to their community. Yeah. I didn't expect how impactful it would be for my own faith. Just being over there and being amongst these folks. They are all-star Christians. So.
Well, I can't wait to watch the documentary. Colby, Stephen, thank you so much for this project and the work that it's taken to get to this point, so thank you.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thanks for having us on.
And again, the documentary is A Faith Under Seige. You can watch it this Saturday on the CBN News Channel at 8 and 11 p.m. Eastern. To find the CBN News Channel in your area, visit watchcbnnews.com.